Okay, so this is the week 2 update of the Unreal Engine Game Mechanics Independent Study. I'm just going to show you what I did and then how I accomplished it. Okay, so in gameplay you can see that there's a health bar and a mana bar, and they are increasing at a set increment slowly. On the one key I have a healing spell with a particle animation linked to that. I'll show you how I did that in a minute. I also have these objects, particle objects, which disappear after they give you about 20% health, I believe. And then this mana restoring object that gives you about 20% mana. It disappears as well. So I'll show you how I accomplished those things, the healing spell and everything like that. Okay, so under third person blueprints, graph editor, I added the healing spell. Basically I had an input ability piece of code, which you just go right click and then you type in what piece of what component you want, and I have a true or false statement connected to it. So basically I have a variable over here that I created called casting h1, one-handed casting, which is linked to the one key. I'll show you how I linked it in a minute. So basically the condition is that the one-hand casting is in effect, and for that to occur, the mana has to be greater than 0.15, so greater than 15%. And if that's true, then the character's movement is disabled and the movement stops for the beginning of the casting, which is a very brief amount of time. And for then what happens after that is the mana is set, and it's set to mana minus 15%, and when the mana is minus 15%, then the health is set, health plus 15%, so we're adding from the mana to the health. And then we're setting the one-handed casting, which the check mark, I believe, means, anyway. So we're setting the health based upon this casting. So as this casting is occurring, we're setting the emitter for the particle system, which was that little animation that went around him, to the socket location. The socket location we have as the left foot of the mesh, the 3D mesh. So we have a delay on the animation. So we're allowing 1 full second to pass before ending the animation sequence. And then we're setting the casting to character movement walking, which is allowing your character to walk again. And all this occurs really quick because it's only a 1 second delay. Pretty brief. Okay, so how we get this ability to set to the one key is we go into edit. Okay, so how you connect it to the one key, this casting spell, is you go to edit, project settings, and then you go to inputs, and then under inputs you add a few new inputs, which I added 9. So then you give it a name. I called it ability 1, and then I tell it, I want it on the 1 key. And then I created these other 9 because I'm going to be adding other abilities next week, and maybe the week after, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, so, it says ability 1 under the input. So that's how it knows what's what. Okay, so the health regeneration bars, and the mana regeneration, the auto generation. So we add in event tick, which is like a frame enabled going by time to the sequence. So to understand how much time is going by, we use the health variable, the health rate variable, which I used, which is set to 1, as in 100%. So it branches out to a true and false statement. So for the rate of health to generate, we need to check the health. We check the health, and if it is less than 1, the statement is true, which means we can set the health to health plus regeneration, which regeneration is 0.01. So we add health and regeneration to health, and then we have another true and false statement. So the condition that needs to be met is health is less than 1. Health is greater than 1. So if health is greater than 1, meaning the health is maxed out, set health to 1. So don't let the amount of health that the character has be more than the progress bar. The mana is pretty much the same thing, except I used mana variables I created with similar numbers. Well, pretty much the same numbers of regeneration and stuff. Okay, so we also have the visible particle systems for the health pickup and the mana pickup, which is this object here and that object there. So let's go look at health. So basically we need to create a particle system component, and then in the particle system component we needed to put a visual effect. So I went to the Infinity Blades effects package, which is a free package from Unreal Engine, and I went to health, and I just grabbed one of these to give the animation for the particle system to play. And then I add the component of a collision box, so that when something collides with this box, a set of code will be triggered. So we're going to look at the event graph. Okay, so this object here, the code for it, the health regeneration objects, is right here. So basically we have an event begin, the game begins, and the third person character is there, so this is affecting the third person character, not other characters. We have a true false statement, so in order for the conditions to be met for this true false statement to move forward, meaning you run into the object, and in order for the object to do something, we have to have the third person character as a target, and their health has to be greater than 1. That has to be false. They have to have they have to be less. Basically, this is saying if they have greater than 1, and if that's false, then add 20% health. So then we're setting the health. Basically we have another branching statement which has a condition, meaning if the health is greater than 1 at this point, then set health to 1, meaning if you're doing this spell and you're brought over 1, you have 90% health, and this would make it 110 your health. It's basically saying set it back to 100%. Don't have it beyond 100%. So then we have a spawn emitter location for the particle effect. So this is for the visuals. So we have a need to get the actor's location, which is the third person character, and we basically tell what animation is being played at that location, which we can select among our particle effects. So I again picked a particle effect from Infinity Blades, a free effect with some startup content, and that plays. And then after that finished playing, destroy the actor. So make the health object disappear. So I also made a mana pickup blueprint. It's very, very similar. It's really just changing a few variables, but it's pretty much the same thing for the most part. Okay, so that's it for this week for the independent study. It'll be posted to the website and YouTube.